In today's episode, we're going to be reacting to some of the craziest and strangest videos I found online. Let's get into it.
Let's slow this down to take a closer look. That's an egg-shaped UAP suspended from a 150-foot long line.
Sure is.
We're told the craft is about 20 feet long. The egg suspended in a cradle. And look how careful the pilot is as they bring their precious cargo into land. Let's freeze frame here to look at one of the clearest images of a UAP ever taken. This is no blurry light in a distant sky. The source of the footage putting themselves at incredible risk to record this UAP retrieval. Look at how perfectly smooth the craft is. No markings at all, and no visible means of propulsion or way to see inside. Watch how it rolls, almost graceful as it hits the ground, despite being wrapped in the ropes and canvas from the cradle as it's dropped for pickup. The UAP's final destination still unknown.
Now, I've seen this video already, and I was looking forward to this video coming out because I was waiting to see what was gonna happen. And when I seen this, I thought that this could not have been the real video, but sure enough, that was it. And that blows my mind because that is not what I was expecting. That literally looks like a egg being held by string and tape. If you guys think that this is real, let me know in the comments. If not, also let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts.
The following video is from a man who works right off the Shenandoah River. When he was at work late one evening, he looked out across the frozen water and saw something odd, something that had him questioning what appears to be multiple circular shapes all across the river, as if crafts came down and simultaneously landed on this frozen water. Could that be the explanation, or is there something else? Is it something natural? And have you ever seen this before? Take a look at this and let me know.
That's pretty interesting.
Free energy. This guy, his name's Maxwell Chikumbutsu, but he's from Zimbabwe. He has created a generator that does not use any power source. So this generator basically creates free energy using frequencies from the atmosphere, and this one generator can like power like 300 homes. These two scientist guys went out there to test it and stuff, and they're like, yeah, it's legit. And they're like, how did you know how to build this? And he says that when he sleeps, he gets revelations from and visions from God of how to create these things. He says, this is how he told me to make it, and he made it. But this dude, he's like has a target on his back.
Yeah, for real.
So he's been in prison in Zimbabwe multiple times for just different things that like,
You're too smart.
He came to the US at one point and he was poisoned and almost died and then fled back to Zimbabwe. He cannot get any of his patents patented because the patent, like in the description, says that if it defies physics, it cannot be patented.
It's really weird to me that they have a rule that if it defies physics, it cannot be a patent, because why not? So I looked it up, and it's kind of a mixed bag in reasons, which I find ridiculous. I don't know, the rules are a little wishy-washy. Let me know what you guys think.
Sometimes when you wake up, you have a random song stuck in your head.
Oh yeah.
And you know why? It's because your brain may have picked up like a frequency from a radio signal from somewhere else. Because you know how like a radio, if you have it beside you, it can hear music and it can play music. Maybe you can't if you're not tuned in on the right frequency. But what if while you sleep, somehow you're able to connect to that frequency and hear things that you couldn't? Now back this, right? Let's take it to a next level. Satellites are a thing.
Yeah.
And to see things on a TV through a satellite is a thing. Would it be so crazy that eventually there's a satellite that can put images into our head?
Oh, that's kind of bro.
And what if Like right now, everything you see right now is an image that's being played in your head.
Yo.
Because we're just connected to something, and we're seeing the world from a different light, a filter or an image that's being transmitted to our brains.
I don't think that they're doing that to us yet, but I do think that we're going to be subjugated to it soon, especially with today's technology where there's Wi-Fi everywhere, a cell phone's practically always near you almost at all times. That stuff's going to emit a frequency that'll probably eventually be able to be fed to you even while you sleep. I could definitely see something like that happening, but I do not think it's happening yet. Or if it is, it's just really small stages of it, and that might be reasons why dreams are getting crazier. I don't see it being impossible. Hey, if you haven't done so already and you're enjoying the show, give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. For everyone that's currently watching and or subscribed, thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. I would also like to give a special shout out to all of my members on my channel. So to everyone that you see on the screen right now, thank you guys so much for supporting my channel and being a member. Some people are calling this a sun candle. It's really cool looking though.
Now this is a Sphinx that got covered in mud from Noah's flood. All these mud floods happen worldwide. It was the flood of Noah. You could see it push mud up over the Sphinx right here. It dried like concrete. The Sphinx is sitting on top of a whole entire temple right here. You can see where the sediment gets pushed up. Even on the steps, it came in sideways and mud wiped out this whole entire temple. These sphinxes are found all over the world, okay? Whether it's in Egypt, Greece, India, there's even one in the Grand Canyon. That's the Sphinx in Balo Christian that got flooded. This is the Sphinx in Egypt. This is the one sitting in the Grand Canyon. You can see the Sphinx had its head knocked off somewhere. It's probably buried behind it in sediment. And that's a pyramid behind the Sphinx covered in mud, okay? All these sphinxes and pyramids are sitting on top of that temples, the same temples that were in Balo Christian. See right here how that Sphinx in Balo Christian is sitting on top of it. That's going to be like your Greek and Roman ancient pillar columns right there that run across like a Colosseum. And that's going to be another top of a temple right there. And that's why when they excavated out the Sphinx in Egypt, they found all kinds of chambers and tunnels underneath, because that Sphinx is sitting on top of a temple. See, this whole area got flooded out, but it pushed sand up in Egypt instead of mud. This is all water damage on the surface right here. 3 generations of stonemasons, the first thing I was taught to see was water damage on a stone surface. This stuff deposited sediment so thick that nothing's going to grow through it for thousands of years, okay? That's why you only see small brush and shrub growing through it, because it's literally concrete that dried. At the top, that's a temple on the other side of the Sphinx in Pakistan, okay? This is all off the coast of Hingle National Park. Right here on the bottom, that's a temple in the next country over for reference, because that's what got flooded, was an ancient temple. They line up perfectly. Same site, Balo Christian, Pakistan, that's a temple right there, covered in concrete, dried. All them horizontal lines running across, those are the water level lines from the water dropping. Okay, and it cut into the sediment and left them patterns. I could do this all day. This is another temple. These are all temples underneath this. You could drill into this and it will be open on the inside of it, because the mud only got so far into it. They poured every single one of these pillars with special concrete. These were not carved out of mountains, shaped and casted and poured these with concrete. That does not age or weather. They used a different formula than what we're using today. This is a statue right here on the other side of the Balo Christian site, okay? They all wanted to be worshipped as gods, so they flooded them all out. This happened worldwide. Now I'm going to take you to the petrified forest in Arizona. This is all petrified wood right here at the surface, okay? This whole entire site flooded, brought the wood to the surface, and that's why all this is sitting on top. That only happens from water right there, okay? The mineralization like that occurs only from being in water. Behind that, on the other hill right there, that's your temple right there. This whole site has buried temples underneath it, okay? These are water level lines going across the mud sediment, creating these erosion lines or mineral deposit looking marks. Just look at this. Look how big some of these tree structures are. This one looks like a giant bone. Just like this one. This is a guy standing at the end for reference, okay? This could very well be The petrified giants from the flood wiped out all the Nephilim. This is the Grand Canyon right here. This was all flooded out. There's temples all inside of here. There was an ancient civilization buried in the Grand Canyon. What we see now is just the water the stream left from cutting all this out. Water carved all this out after it flooded. It shaped the mud sediment over the structure.
It's really interesting to think about, and I like to think that, yes, the Sphinx, because it's such a mystery, that it actually is on top of like a temple, and just over hundreds of thousands of years, water and mud just kind of eroded and we built up that layer. We're just seeing the top of the pyramids and the Sphinx, when deep down there's actually more to it. That's really interesting. Now, they are starting to use LiDAR to see a little bit further underground, but still that might not be far enough. There might be something even further than that.
To think we were actually impressed when this first came out in 2023. Extremely grainy and chaotic, with each clip only being like 2 seconds long. Not to mention the backgrounds, movements, and pretty much everything going on in the videos is just totally warped and doesn't visually make any sense. More of a bad trip than a realistic simulation, but it's a start. Then in 2024, we get a serious update. It's looking much better, full HD, and there's a sort of consistency in the video where things aren't just morphing in and out of shape anymore. You'll still notice some movements that are kind of creepy and jerky, or objects that just forget how they were supposed to be oriented. Overall, it still has a very uncanny type of feel to it. Like, we can obviously tell what we're looking at isn't real life, but now 2025 just brought it to a whole new level. Actually, no, this is a real video Will Smith took himself in 2024 as a parody to all the AI videos of him eating spaghetti. But it does give us a sort of control test of what we're working towards, because this is AI Will Smith eating spaghetti in 2025. The future is here. Huge improvements over 2024. At first glance, it almost looks 100% real. But if you look really close, you'll see a few unnatural movements and subtle transformations that just don't make much sense. But clearly, we're making great progress, and soon enough, we're going to be able to generate videos of anyone doing anything, and we're not even going to be able to tell whether they're real or AI. Hold up, should we be concerned?
AI generated videos are getting much better, and I'm willing to bet by the end of this year it's going to be even better. And that's kind of a scary thing.
Speaking of Mark Zuckerberg, did you hear about the house he's building in Hawaii? Freaky.
No.
Oh, freaky. And he's building this very secretive compound, built walls all around this property so no one can see what he's doing. And everyone working on the site has to sign an NDA. Some of the plans for his lair, mansion, whatever compound got leaked. Basically, it's a mansion, but underneath it is a bigger mansion with like the walls are made out of metal and concrete, blast doors.
No.
And they have their own underground room or whatever to where they can grow their own food. They have their own water supply. He's making its own self-sufficient place. And one of the things had an actual nuclear blast door.
He's getting as far away from civilization as you possibly could be.
The idea, but with being in Hawaii, is I guess you want to be surrounded by water or just unreachable.
Or just unreachable, probably. But what's creepy is this guy in New Zealand who's a contractor who builds basically underground giant bunkers. He's had over 11 billionaires build bunkers in New Zealand. And it's a reoccurring theme to where all these billionaires are like building bunkers and like doing all this weird stuff. It's like, I think they might know something.
I mean, if I had that much money, almost unlimited amount of money, I would probably do something similar. I'm not sure if it would be in Hawaii. It'd probably still be in America, maybe. But I would also like to have a really nice underground bunker. Let me know in the comments, if you guys had that much money, would you not be interested in having an underground bunker as well?
The following is a conversation with Roman Yampolsky, an AI safety and security researcher and author of a new book titled AI Unexplainable, Unpredictable, Uncontrollable. This is the Lex Friedman Podcast. Now, dear friends, here's Roman Yampolsky. What to you is the probability that superintelligent AI will destroy all human civilization?
What's the time frame?
Let's say 100 years, in the next 100 years.
So the problem of controlling AGI or superintelligence, in my opinion, is like, if we create general superintelligences, I don't see a good outcome long-term for humanity. So there is X risk, existential risk, everyone's dead. There is S risk, suffering risks, where everyone wishes they were dead. We have also idea for I risk, ikigai risks, where we lost our meaning. The systems can be more creative, they can do all the jobs. It's not obvious what you have to contribute to a world where superintelligence exists. Of course, you can have all the variants you mentioned where we are safe, we are kept alive, but we are not in control. We are not deciding anything. We are like animals in a zoo. There is, again, possibilities we can come up with as very smart humans, and then possibilities something 1,000 times smarter can come up with for reasons we cannot comprehend.
One of the more fascinating facts that prove that fruit is superior to hydration than water, H2O, whatever, is that you don't really sweat. Yes, I still sweat, but not like compared to before. I grew up in Florida, so before keto, when I was on keto for the last 13 years, before when I was on whatever shit diet, I would step outside and literally start sweating profusely. You would see beads dripping down my face. Now, I perspirate a little bit, but it is nothing like that. And this is because your cells actually hold on to this hydration. It is not just being flushed out like the water, because this water is just going through your body, absorbing the minerals, and you're peeing out all your minerals. H2O is a byproduct of glycolysis. This is when your body takes these monosaccharides that are reducing sugars, reduces them via glycolysis, creating pyruvate, which is the fuel source for the Krebs cycle, and 2H2O. H2O is an excrete. It is a byproduct. It is not hydrating. This is what you pee out after your body absorbs the carbon hydration from the fruit. And the fruit has all the electrolytes. As we know, the electrolytes are what hydrates the body. So you guys are leaching these electrolytes when you're drinking this H2O because it's a byproduct that your body excretes immediately. And yes, I'm not saying that I don't sweat at all, but it is fascinating to be able to go outside and barely sweat. And you can all try this out for yourself. Do it for a week and go try and sweat. You'll be like, what is going on? This is crazy. It is crazy because your body is finally holding on to your hydration. All these people are like, you don't know what you're talking about, the salt. You gotta have the salt. It's the magnesium in the salt. It's the electrolytes. Your body can't even extract that. You guys are telling me you need to have salt. Salt is dehydrated ocean water. When you're putting it into your body of water, it's becoming ocean water. You won't even survive if you drink the ocean water. Your kidneys will shut down before you get hydrated. So how does having this dehydrated ocean water say, oh, this is what hydrates you? It makes zero sense. You guys sound ridiculous. I can't blame you because I was doing it too. I was pinching Celtic sea salt on my tongue. If you guys don't know, it's the magnesium in the Celtic sea salt. Celtic sea salt has 3 molecules of magnesium in it. Himalayan only has 1. That's why Celtic sea salt is superior. Whatever. But it does not actually hydrate you. It might a little bit because it's like 5% bioavailable. You might get a little bit out of it. But fruit, when you have this fruit juice, it is a colloidal mineral that is 95 to 98% bioavailable. They're selling you dehydrated ocean water and telling you this is the cure-all. Get all your vitamins and minerals from it.
I definitely do believe that superior hydration comes from fruits and vegetables, and I still like to take a little bit of that Celtic salt and put it on my tongue. It's something that I just like doing. But don't get me wrong, I'll eat my fruits and vegetables too, and drink a glass of water.
Y'all are not even going to believe me. Yes, it's January 24th, and yes, you're seeing correct. There's another blizzard coming to Texas, way bigger than the first one. Or the first two, I'm losing track. Where we can see literally over 2 foot, some model are projecting over 2 foot of snow in the south again. Now this was predicted by Into Thin Air. If you don't know him, he predicted the last 2 storms perfectly accurate weeks before it even happened. And not just Texas, but New Mexico and all over. And it's very oddly close to a certain place where a lot of stuff is happening down here, if you know what I'm talking about. Very odd indeed. And then even more odd, we have pictures coming in where we just had the once-in-a-lifetime blizzard with the skies looking like this. Y'all, I've been touching grass for 30 years. It never does this. For all those people that say, oh, it's winter, it's supposed to be like that. And here's some of that snow that we were just talking about. They were holding it in front of one of those ridiculously hot furnaces that shoot hot air. And for some reason, who knows why, it's not melting. Instead, the top will actually start to burn and turn black, but it doesn't melt. Waiting for all the scientists to explain it away and say it's evaporation. Like no water would run at the bottom of the shovel. And it keeps getting just crazier and crazier and crazier.
Oh, people out there in the West, please be careful because rain, snow, it's all nasty.
Someone tell me the science behind this. So we have two flexible rulers. If I put them together like this, right, I'm a person who needs to wear glasses with prescription. So if I put them like this and look through it, I can see, like, this is like, I can see, like, what is going on.
This, it looks like a demon from Supernatural. Or just like black, smoky. Is that what a shadow figure looks like? I've never actually seen a shadow figure like with my own two eyes, but it looks like this shadow figure comes over like it could be a sleep paralysis demon or something on top of this sleeping woman. Other woman comes in, starts whacking it around with shoes. First I was like, oh, she's cleansing the person. But no, she's using shoes to whack it away, which then leads me to the question of, is she seeing this thing in real life? Or did she see it on this recording? Like they had like a video camera and they could see it real time and she's like, oh shit, what's that? And then she goes in there and does she still see it? Or is she just kind of whacking around where she thought it was with the shoe? Hold on. There's another video too. Hold on. So this one is like a wider angle of like more of the room, it looks like. Okay, she's walking over. For a second, it looked like that was split in half, but I guess it's not split in half, and it's not two different things. So it's like the whole room, and you're going to see this thing multiple times be moving around. I'm waiting for it to come out the first time. I believe it comes from like the top-ish somewhere, like top left-ish. Hold on, let's wait 1 second. When I was originally watching this, I was watching that closet there, or whatever that door is, and I was wondering what that was, but I think that movement there is just some weird light stuff. So we're just waiting for the actual smoke to be coming. I think I see a fan. Oh, there it is. Okay, so there it is. Like, it's moving around, it's moving over, it's going towards her over there. And it's on the right side now. And this happens like the rest of the video. This thing is just like moving around. And this other woman keeps coming in and like swatting it with shoes, swatting it with like what looks like a tennis racket. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if this is real or not, but you guys give me your thoughts in the comments.
Well, iPhones with TikTok still installed are being listed on eBay for upwards of $10,000. Although TikTok service came back in the U.S., the app is currently restricted from further downloads in the App Store. An iPhone 14 Pro Max with the app installed sold for $2,500 on eBay, with others also being sold near those prices. TikTok is estimated to have some 170 million users in the U.S., with a third of U.S. adults using the app.
That's crazy. I can't believe we live in a time where someone's willing to spend that much money on a device just because it has a certain app on it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoy scrolling through TikTok myself, but to pay $2,000+ for a phone that has an app, I'll just stick with YouTube or some other form of media at that point. Let me know though, if you had a few phones that had TikTok on it and you knew people were out there buying, would you sell them for a couple of grand?
World Conspiracy Theories, we are now on Part 3, Tier 6, starting off with the Eye of Africa. So the Eye of Africa, also known as the Richat structure, or just the Eye of the Sahara, is a roughly 30-mile wide geological formation that kind of looks like a giant eye. Officially, the scientific opinion is that this was thought to be formed possibly from tectonic activity or volcanic activity, which people will use this excuse to say, no, there's no way that Atlantis could have existed there, but I think a civilization could have also existed there, but also would be formed naturally, personally. So that's the point of this one. A lot of people claim that the Eye of the Sahara, or the Eye of Africa, is the lost city of Atlantis, as it resembles how Atlantis was described by Plato. So Atlantis was described as an empire made up of 10 kingdoms. This empire was said to have a lost city called Atlantis that was the capital. It was said to be made up of concentric circles, 2 of water and 3 of land. And as you can see, the Richat structure, it appears to be exactly that. It even has a ton of salt deposits in the center of where the water would be, which, where does salt come from? What's really interesting that I learned recently is that Plato learned the story of Atlantis because it was passed down through generations from a guy named Solon, who actually learned about it in Egypt, which is a lot closer to where this structure would have been. Anyways, a lot of people nowadays hate the idea of Atlantis quakes being real, but I need this. Please, let me have this one. The moon is artificial. This is a fun one. A few reasons why people think the moon is an artificial object is because, for one, a lot of people think that the moon is millions of years older than Earth. Also, Earth is the only planet in our solar system that has a moon that is roughly 1/4 its size. So it's way larger than all the other moons compared to their planets. But the third thing, what I find is most strange, is that the moon perfectly covers the sun during a solar eclipse. Do you ever think about that? Like, why does the moon perfectly cover the sun? The odds would be astronomical for this to occur naturally. Anyways, people also point to how there's a lot of seismic activity on the moon where they experience earthquakes or moonquakes, and how the moon shakes much longer than the Earth does, even being quoted as ringing like a bell during these moonquakes by Professor Clive Neal, who does geological sciences at the University of Notre Dame. Now, most people will say that this happens because the moon is so dry, but some people literally think it's hollow by the way it reacts to these moonquakes. So the overall conspiracy theory here is that some people think the moon is either hollow or it somehow was put here by some sort of entities that wanted to study us, and so they moved an artificial satellite into our area to observe us, and it's just like the Truman Show. We're living in the Truman Show. I am Truman. I'm always filming myself. Skinwalkers. These are entities that came from Navajo legends here in North America about these witch things who basically they form some sort of evil ritual that allows them to shapeshift into animals. Usually these things are seen as evil, and they spread bad omens or curses onto other groups of people. They're said to walk around in animal furs, usually like predator furs like coyotes or wolves, so that they can shapeshift into those animals that the fur is that they're wearing. Most prominently in today's culture, I'm sure you guys have heard of Skinwalker Ranch. This is a place in Utah where people have claimed a lot of different strange phenomenon has happened, like UFOs, interdimensional creatures, and then like Skinwalker-like creatures, and they've made a big dramatic show about it. But my conspiracy theory is that Skinwalker Ranch did it for the money. Moving on to the 7th tier. First up, we have Ancient Aliens. Ancient Aliens is the idea that things from the past were either built by or greatly influenced by literal extraterrestrial beings, or that there used to be aliens on Earth, or maybe they still are. So maybe things like pyramids or Stonehenge was made by aliens, or that like the giant picture things that are in the desert that you can only see from the sky, what are they called, the Nazca lines, were created for aliens to see because they were flying across the planet and they're like, we gotta build those for the aliens, and then they did it. Or maybe like the story of the Anunnaki, these creatures that enslaved humanity and gave them technology, was actually a story about aliens from another planet hidden in our solar system that wanted gold, so we mined it for them, and then they gave the Sumerians super advanced knowledge, and that's why they had advanced systems back in the day. Obviously, most notoriously, there's an Ancient Aliens show on the History Channel that everybody knows about. Aliens. Alright, the back rooms. I love the back rooms. I'm from the back room. The origins of the back rooms came from this one picture that went viral online a while ago. It shows this yellow room that has really dim lighting and yellow wallpaper, and it's like an empty office space with weird walls. And a lot of people started commenting on this picture saying it made them feel uneasy, but they felt like they had seen it before. And what's cool, I just learned this recently, is that up until May 2024, nobody knew where that picture actually originated from. But it was now discovered that that image actually originated from a furniture store in Wisconsin that was getting renovated. And so that's why there's a lot of weird partitions, like the weird walls there that were kind of set up to display furniture. Anyways, in the folklore, the online folklore of the back rooms, it's a place where people no clip out of reality, kind of like in a video game where you walk through a wall or go through the floor, and then you're trapped in this never-ending maze of yellow rooms where you can't figure out how to get out, and maybe there's an entity in there. Kane Pixels on YouTube did an incredible series on the back rooms. If you haven't seen that, I highly recommend watching that. I don't know what the conspiracy theory is on this. Maybe it's just the back rooms is real. Sky quakes. This is a really interesting interesting one that I feel like a lot of people should know about. So skyquakes are this unexplained worldwide phenomenon where people in different parts of the world all hear a similar strange sound that seems to be coming from the sky. Usually it's described as a horn or like loud thunder while there's no clouds in the sky. They say that the sound might cause vibrations in the room that you're in, and the people that experience these skyquakes usually don't have an explanation for what is causing them, but normally when they're heard, multiple people in different areas hear the same thing and report the same thing. Explanations for what skyquakes actually are range from being like jets breaking the sound barrier to meteors burning up in the atmosphere, or even like massive underwater caves collapsing underneath the ocean. But some people think that it's literally earthquakes that cause these really weird, strange sounds to be heard up in the sky, or seem like they're coming from the sky. But overall, we still have no idea what they are as of 2025. Sea peoples. So, sea peoples are a very strange group of people from history. It's a big mysterious group of people that appeared out of nowhere, it seemed like, in the Mediterranean Sea, and they were really good at attacking coastlines. So good, actually, that Egypt was even scared of them when Egypt was nearing the end of its peak. The sea peoples were made up of different groups of tribes, such as the Lukka and the Wesheshesh tribe, whose origins are still unknown today. Basically, they were pirates that were really good at attacking, but then also, once they conquered a city or a village, they would get more people to help them attack and conquer. But yeah, they mainly attacked coastal cities and towns, and they attacked Egypt twice, and it was a big deal. Everybody was like, wow, they waged 2 campaigns, military campaigns on Egypt. That's unbelievable. How are they doing this and not being wiped out? But what's so cool is that the sea peoples were believed to be a major contribution to why the Bronze Age collapse happened. So that's really cool.
Obviously, I don't know what vampires think, as vampires are fictitious. With that said, the following is hypothetical. Recently, people have been asking me my thoughts on the existence of aliens, and I'm not sure why they're asking me that. And the reason why I'm not sure why they're asking me is because the government has been telling you about aliens since aliens were discovered. Like Roswell. That's a real thing. That happened. So what's going on here is that they're practicing hiding in plain sight. One of the ways in which the government controls us is maximizing or minimizing pandemonium. Now, in this case, they want to minimize pandemonium around this topic. So they give you the information. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, why would they give us the information if they don't want us to participate in a mass panic? Think of it like this. If the government was to actually keep that secret and people were to find out about it, there's 100% chance that we'd all participate in mass panic. So instead of hiding it, they just give you the information. They just talk about it. They let people talk about it. They allow these docuseries you see on Hulu or Netflix to exist. They let Paramount and HBO Max make these documentaries on aliens. They let them. As a matter of fact, they push that shit to be made. That's hiding in plain sight. They know that once presented with this information, your brain is going to protect you. So you'll see these documentaries and these docuseries and say to yourself, well, there's no way the government would allow this kind of information to just be spread wildly on the internet or on TV. There's no way. So that means it's not real. That's your brain protecting you. That's your brain making you feel safe. So to circle back, the reason why I find it weird that anyone's asking me about the existence of aliens is it's because you've been told about aliens since the discovery of aliens. Your brains have been protecting you so much that even in 2024, when they said we found some aliens, y'all were like, oh my God, I'm so surprised. But they already told you about it. They already told you about it. But that's the game. Hiding in plain sight. When you want to hide something as extraordinary as aliens existing, mermaids existing, vampires existing, you just give the people the information. Just give them the information. So for instance, if there was a vampire tasked with the job of keeping real interest in vampires down, he would probably write about it, you know, make a movie about it, or get on social media and tell stories about it.
I've recently ran across this creator. His whole content is he is supposedly or allegedly a vampire. He doesn't just straight up come out with it, he just talks about what it's like being a vampire, and he does it very well and very believably. I'm pretty certain it's all satire and it's just for show. I'm 100% certain that this guy's not an actual vampire, but his content is actually really good and very theoretically informative. I may add some more of his content in here and there because I do find it fairly entertaining. Alright guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end today's episode. As always, if you found any of the clips that we watched today interesting, there will be a link in the description that will take you to all of the clips that we watched. And with that being said, have a good day.